Welcome, everyone. This is Akinar, and today we are checking out Taiji. I'm super excited about playing this game because, as I understand it, the game is at least partially, if not heavily, inspired by The Witness. And The Witness happens to be my favorite puzzle game. So it has come highly recommended from friends of mine who are similarly enthusiastic about The Witness. And they have also perhaps warned me that the game is quite challenging. But that's what we like here. We like challenging games, we like puzzle games, and we also like going in 100% blind, if possible. And that is the case here. I know nothing about the game other than what I've already just told you. So why don't we check it out? Let's play Taiji. In fact, we're already playing because just like The Witness, you boot up this game and you're off and running. No title screen, no opening cutscene, just cut into the chase, which I like. Now, one thing I am not doing is listening to the game. Right now, you all can hear the game sounds, but I don't have my headphones on yet. I got this idea while watching a streamer, and I thought it was a pretty cool idea. When you're doing a blind playthrough, part of the fun, most of the fun maybe, is getting those first-time reactions to everything. And maybe that includes hearing the game for the first time. So let me turn on my headphones here. Okay, there we go. I was a little curious whether there would actually be music. I do feel like there is a very faint, very subtle musical tone or note that is resonating in the background. And we are, what appears to be here, I kind of felt like there would probably be windy sounds because it feels like we are at the top of some sort of, we're at the peak of some sort of hill. And now I'm as the game has been trying to tell me for some time now, I'm moving the mouse. So I have my cursor here. It is also, let's see, I'm guessing I'm moving with the WASD keys. Okay. Now moving off of this little platform here, is that what changes? Okay, so we're observing a couple different things here. If we move off of the platform that is in the middle, there's like a diamond and a square here, an 8-pointed star. And then we stand on this platform, and then we get a prompt to move the mouse, and this square icon really starts being highlighted. And then when our cursor goes over that, we get a solid square. So I'm guessing I'm supposed to click on this. Okay. Now it's prompting me to do spacebar. Huh. What did I just do? I feel like... Can I press spacebar again? Okay, so if I click on it, it feels like there is power that's being transferred. We stand on the middle panel, I click here, and then transfer power with the spacebar. I think that is what is happening. Okay. And now we're being told, okay, go ahead. You are now free to move about the landscape. I can't go through these bushes. The bushes are feeling more like rocks. But our character here appears to be a she. She is moving around. In a way that is something I'm just getting used to. Getting used to the controls here. And I fall off of a... Similar to The Witness as well. There are guardrails that do not allow us to fall. Is my cursor changing here when I'm mousing over this source of light? These do look like eyes, I have to admit. My attention being drawn to these lights down here does make me think of these as eyes, and we're actually standing on somebody's forehead, or the rock formation's forehead. Okay, so now the next step here is standing on this panel. We have drawn power up to this pillar at the very top, but I'm not sure exactly what that has done for us. We are now here at a panel that's got 6 squares. And we can sort of activate these squares. Now, at first, you know, it wouldn't make much sense if we're just supposed to activate all of the squares. It seems like looking across the way, we can see a, you know, a Tetris piece, a Tetronimo that appears to be what we would want to do. Or not. It seemed like that might be the most logical shape to try and form with this set of connectors here. Connectors? This panel. But now I'm not so sure. Oh, except I can click on the panel that I'm standing on to actually have an effect. Now I also forgot that spacebar is a possibility, but it looks like maybe it has the same effect. So left-clicking the platform or pressure plate that we're standing on has a similar effect to spacebar. And let me just go back to the top up here. Oh, there is a run. Okay. I was just about to think, or I was just wondering, do I have the ability to run? Yes. Okay, so shift does let us run, which is great. So now, okay, I just wanted to check and make sure that, well, okay, so here when my cursor is over the square that's on the pillar, spacebar still controls the pressure plate that I'm on. Some little nuances and subtleties to the controls so far, which may or may not be important. I always love these little details especially when I'm getting used to a game. Okay, we're moving on here, and there's the prompt to let you know, hey, you can run. Guess what? You can run. I did see that there was what looked like this platform could connect to... We built a bridge here. We built a bridge here. If we were able to connect this part, the upper half of our potential bridge, if we were able to connect that instead, we could navigate down lower on this mountain face. I kind of want to see what's down there, but I'm not sure that I can navigate that. If I go back and stand on this platform and we click again, nothing happens. What happens if I reverse? No. Is there any combination of shapes that it's yelling at me, letting me know that I'm doing it wrong? I'm just curious, is there any potential combination that would reorient my setup here? Let's keep going for now. Oh, I do see there's a shape over here. Now I'm guessing the game wants me to put these 3 squares into this panel on the right. But what if I put it here? What'd that do? So they wanted that panel showed this combination. It looks like you probably have a 1-to-1 correspondence between panel and solution. I don't suppose I can actually interact in any way with... There's another little... The platform juts out here, suggesting that this might connect somewhere as well. Perhaps it does that if we... Let's just go ahead and follow the very straightforward nudging of the game. Now, in this case, we are bringing... Okay, this time we just kind of brought the big 2 rock slabs together. This little part here didn't actually connect. I'm really getting the impression, and this is also probably where the knowledge of the fact that this game takes inspiration from The Witness is probably going to lead me to investigate some things more deeply than I might otherwise think about investigating, to see what potential combinations might have an effect. Because in this case, I think the very straightforward thing that they want us to put on this panel is the Tetronimo that we see up here. but I also want to try the previous shapes, right? And I'm also tempted to go to this panel and try the shape that's upcoming. But so far, it does seem like one solution per panel is what is asked for. So for now, let's proceed under that. Oh, okay. Okay, hold on. It is not. So I'm taking this shape here. I'm taking this shape here, but it is not having an effect. Now, there is a detail here that I didn't notice, but I didn't think was important until maybe now, is the color. With the first two Tetronymos, they were white/gray, light gray. And this one is dark gray or black. What could the color signify? Would the color indicate the need for us to reverse the direction? We've already tried the previous shapes, right? We've already tried the previous shapes. And they did not have any effect on that panel. So we're already at a bit of a crossroads here, which is really interesting. What is the information that we are meant to glean? It's not allowing us. It's not allowing us to. Did we try this one already? Yeah. Go all the way back to the beginning. Now, okay, so there is another detail here. If we go back here now, do we really want this? We transferred power to this pillar, but I still don't know what that did for us. Was that really something that we wanted? Oh, otherwise we were trapped. I see. Now, okay, all right. So we're inside of a force field here. Got it. That was not, it wasn't music that I was hearing. It was the ambiance of the force field. Okay. Now, if I step out of here, I don't have the ability to interact with the pillar anymore. Okay. So it does seem like you have to be standing on one of these platforms in order to do things. I had noticed the fact that this platform is light gray, while these platforms are dark gray. It feels like I'm already looking for patterns where none may exist. Because there's something simpler that I am missing or overlooking. Do we have to maybe, like, does the state of these previous panels affect anything? I feel like that's also not an answer. Like, I would have to input and keep. We didn't have to do that with the previous two panels. I didn't have to go back to panel number 1 and input the shape that I used for panel number 2. I just had to input the shape for panel number 2. And it reacted very positively when I do give it the correct solution. It reacts very positively. Just like this one here, it reacts negatively to that shape, but then if I go back and I give it the piece that we started with, it likes it. Oh, is that the problem? Is the problem that, I think that's the problem, is that I deactivated the previous panels. I think in order to, it maybe is the case that we need to build these in sequence. And that if I deactivate any of the previous ones, nope, that's not it. Oh, did I try reversing it once I activated the previous panels correctly? Reversing still doesn't work. What other combinations could we even try? What other combinations would even work? Like, if the... with the first puzzle, what are the... if I'm thinking through the way that I would want to work through a set of witness panels, did the camera change? Why did the camera change this way for... It seemed like the camera recentered over to the left. Like, it doesn't... I don't know if this is important, but the camera, when I'm standing on this panel... Let's see if it does it again. It kind of goes back to the starting angle, starting camera angle. But the first panel, I mean, the first two panels seemed very straightforward. You just put in the shape that it's showing there. You just put in the shape that is... the shape that is closest. The shape that is closest. I don't see any difference between these panels. They all seem to be the same shape, the same... Like, there's really not much... There's no difference in color as far as I can tell. The only thing that's not like the others... Oh, wait a second. I am now noticing something. Okay, I am noticing something here. That... This is kind of interesting. The detail that my brain has finally picked up on is when I'm standing here, I can actually not just see this shape that is depicted here, but we also have the shape that is depicted as part of the actual part of the level that I'm walking on. There is a 2x3 pattern that we can see here, and the 1, 2, 3 solution to this panel is also depicted. So now we maybe need to start thinking in terms of a meta solution. This is so incorporating this new information. How does that apply in other cases? If we go to this part over here, now I can see that there is, you know, we've got the T shape up here, but we also have a T shape here. How is that important? How exactly does that help me? The part that I haven't quite figured out yet is the shape that we started with does not seem to appear. It seems like there's actually an L shape here in the walkway, while we'd have, I don't know, an S shape or I don't know exactly what this one is called, but it's kind of it's not an S. Like, I think of it as an S if it's on its side, but that's what we put in here. That was the solution here. This brown L shape that we can see on the walkway, is that what we're supposed to put in over here? No. Would it make any sense simply to reverse pattern from the previous does not appear to be. And we already tried this backwards. We already tried that. What if we... Did we try it blank? You've got the T shape here. You've got the T shape here. And we're on the... Huh. Does it matter in what order we press them? Is that ever a possibility? That feels like an overcomplication. There doesn't seem to be any indication of order. Like, in what order you should press the squares. I feel like that's not part of the solution. What I'm really having trouble with is the fact that there seems to be this very clear connection on the middle section has this very clear, you know, crisscross pattern that's reflected in the actual stone formation. But then when you get to here, you have this Z or S tetronomo that is not reflected at all in this dark gray or brown upside down L. How do these two things relate to each other? Did I already try putting in the L here? The upside down L? So far I'm feeling like the playthrough is an L. I'm feeling like we're not getting anywhere. Alright, I took a little break, and partly because I needed to get some lunch, but also I've been very stuck. It's only the first puzzle of the game, or the first sequence of puzzles, and we're already really grasping for straws. However, only just a couple minutes into that break did I have an idea. That idea has to do with the placement of these tetronomos and thinking about them in terms of the overall 2x3 portion of the level that they're on. I'm wondering if we're supposed to be thinking about that and not, rather than trying to make this shape, which is dark, the dark gray color, it's the actual platform that they're seated on and their placement in that, you know, if we think about this one here as the overall 2x3, if we think of the first, let's maybe put the first row as the top row. So that would be, one of them would be here on row 1, column 2. Then the other, the middle one here would be what? 3rd row, column 1. And then the first one would be over here on 1st row, column 1. So is that our meta puzzle answer? No, it is not. Okay, well, there goes that idea. Oh, I'm this, hold on. Is the dark tetronomo meant to symbolize the negative space? Have I been... Good Lord. I think I just did the exact same thing. I don't have unfortunately, my Witness playthrough was, my first playthrough of the Witness was many years ago. And so it was before I started streaming or recording videos, any sort of content creation. And, but I did something, my memory is a little bit sketchy, but I want to say that I did something very, very similar on that first set of tutorial panels with the black and white squares. I know that I was overcomplicating it in some horrendous way. And that's exactly what I did here. How many different ways? It only took us a half an hour to do the very first puzzle in the game. But of course, the Occam's razor solution, the simple answer, was right in front of us the whole time. Okay. Okay, we're moving onward and upward in our sequence of platforms in the sky. So now, let's see if we can incorporate this new knowledge. Has the game taught us the correct lesson here? That we are, if it is a dark gray set of squares, those are the negative space. Okay, all right, we're getting there. We're getting there. I like our little gate opening up. And of course, here is our little cable has lit up, just as it would in The Witness. I'm seeing the parallels, guys. I am definitely seeing them. Okay, here we go. Whee! All right. Now, obviously, it's a very, very, very different art style, being the much more of a 2D. It's not isometric. Is it an isometric camera? Whatever terminology, whatever the type of environment that we're looking at here, as opposed to a fully rendered, three-dimensional, first-person island experience. I mean, we should be, this panel should be very, unless they're going to throw some curveballs at us here, which now I'm a little wary of. How exactly are things going to scale up in difficulty? But we've got we're lighting some cables. We are lighting some cables. We got a nice little cherry blossom garden here, question mark. Now, this is the point at which, where do we have a pattern for the next panel here? Right here. Okay. It's interesting, though. It is interesting that if you simply just go to this panel, the game does not, or the camera does not adjust. It does not pan up enough for you to see this without walking up there. Okay. So, now, this is a 4x4 grid, but we don't have a full 4x4 pattern here. There are some squares on the corners that are not explicitly shown. They are not explicitly shown to us. I'm noticing, obviously, there is another grid with a there's more to do. There's a larger pattern to fill in or deal with over here beyond the fence, but there's also some stuff here in the cliff facing. I do like this waterfall over here. That's very nicely done. As a side note, let's tackle one problem at a time. I'm just noticing what might be ahead, what we might have to take into account. There's something on the cliff face here. How do we deal with this guy, though? How do we deal? So the negative space ones are bottom left and top right, but that still doesn't tell us exactly what is meant to be for. Like, I could just fill in these. Those are the explicit ones to fill in, but that's not enough, because I'm not sure what we're doing for the top. This is a guess. Okay. That kind of worked, but it's not entirely clear why. So if we're trying to build a rule set, the light squares indicate the ones that we have to affirmatively, explicitly delineate or fill in on our panel, and the dark squares are ones that do not need to be activated. What does that say about ones that are not explicitly shown. This upper left corner, for example, ended up being a negative space square. The one on the bottom left, though, ended up being a... it's implicitly telling us that this is a dark square and this is a light square. Is it saying that... like, what's the simplest explanation as to how that rule would work? If we... are you supposed to say that it has to be the opposite of the squares that are surrounding it? That feels a bit cumbersome. Let's see if the next panel gives us some inclination as we start to hear, or at least I notice for the first time, music. Okay. Very subtle, though. Is it picking up the farther that we head up? Interesting. So this one, we are not blocked. Our path forward is not restricted by having to solve this panel. We can head up here and see that there is quite a bit going on. Oh, and this time there's maybe a new mechanic that's being introduced at this panel. It's prompting us to use the Z key. Okay. Let's not get to that just yet. Let's try to solve this panel first and maybe bring some finality to this opening tutorial. So, if we're comparing, so I think there is a clear, what looks like a clear symmetry or correlation between what we see in the rock and what we see here on this, what do we call it? The Tetronimo statue. And I think this is trying to fill in for us exactly which ones are the light squares versus the dark squares. Filled versus empty. I think maybe that the cliff face is like the ground truth. And it's telling us explicitly what is implied. These empty, or the parts of the Tetronimo statue that aren't explicit are being made explicit here. I think this upper right-hand corner is saying that it should be filled in. Let me see if the solution that is shown on the side ends up being the solution. Okay, that's what I thought. So the rule that I said before, which sounded kind of complicated, the rule that I was saying, for squares that are not explicitly defined, then look at the surrounding squares and take the opposite. That's not a great rule set because it's kind of not simple, but also it sort of falls apart when you get to this square. So this square, oh, it actually powered it down. This square here, that's right, as soon as you negate or as soon as you go something other than the actual solution, it powers down the panel. So why is this one an empty? Even though it has, like, you can't take the opposite of the squares that surround it. Unless it's a majority votes. Because in this case, there are 3 squares surrounding this. Like I'm just, in my mind, I'm not counting the boundary and I'm not counting the diagonals. So I'm only counting this, you know, the 4-way up, down, left, right directionality. In that world, there are 3 squares surrounding this one, and 2 of them are filled. 1 of them is not. So it's the opposite of the majority. Does that make any sense, what I'm saying? I feel like this is a convoluted rule set, but maybe it makes sense. Because this one here is not explicitly defined. but it is surrounded by a majority of empty squares. Not counting the diagonal. Well, even if you did count the diagonals, but I don't think we want to count the diagonals. I'm not sure. Could be getting into some tricky territory. I think if you counted the diagonals for this one, then that would throw out my rule. Now, so that sounds like a complicated rule set. So we might need to re-examine that if we are building the rules like we would have done in the witness. Okay, so now this one, these Tetronimo panels are pretty explicit, but the question is, in what order are you supposed to do them? So let's see what happens now. I did forget about the fact that Z is a button that they want us to press. What happens with Z? Zoom in? Is that what it is? It looks like it is a zoom feature. Okay. I'm not sure I needed a zoom unless it actually has some functionality to it. So when I'm stepping on, let's see what happens when I step on the other pressure plates. Okay. There is some new information being given here that we have to try and incorporate. We have 4 pressure plates. They all have cables that go into... They're all connected to a single cable that opens up the way forward. Looking over to the side here, looks like there is some sort of a, I don't know, a quarry area. Just exploring around for a moment because, you know, that lets me not think about the next tough puzzle. Back to the puzzle at hand. Oh, wait a second. We can actually... Oh, okay. I mean, of course. Of course. Why did I think that that was not... Oh, wait a second. I think I understand. I think I understand. You cannot change the square that's within the dashed lines. They're giving those to you. I think that's what's going on. And so that means that tells you the order. If the top left and top left and bottom left have to be filled, that means it has to be this puzzle here on, or this statue arrangement. I think I got it. I think we're doing it. This would have to be the bottom left. Boom. This one here has to be this Z shape, except it's the negative space. Those are the empties. Boom. And then there's only one left. Okay. I like this. I like this, especially I like it when I have feel like I know what I'm doing. I'm not totally sure yet. These here, we need to see if the pattern holds with my convoluted rule set that I've come up with. I have a feeling that it's not going to. There's going to be some corner cases that throw a wrench into things. Aha! What do we have here? I like the music. I'm also noticing, I think this is the screenshot that is on the Steam. When I open this game from Steam, I think this is what you see. We have this very Eastern style architecture here. And then we have a ring with a bunch of symbols on it. What are these symbols? These, I would imagine there are, looks like there are 9 different symbols. And almost certainly these are going to be, again, I can't help but know the knowledge that this is a game that is connected very much to The Witness is making me think that these are the different puzzle areas. There's going to be a separate mechanic that is learned in each of the areas connected to these symbols. We've got like, what, a fan here, a tree. This is like, what, pen and paper? Not sure what this is. Is this 1010? And then some other shapes over here. Is this one could be the Tetris-esque puzzles that we've done so far, but maybe this one is. I don't know. Don't know exactly yet, but I'm not sure that I'm hitting the space bar. We've got our Z to zoom in dramatically, but I don't think there's anything to be done with these symbols on this ring at the moment. All I can do is walk on them. So I'm guessing that this is going to be a progress indicator, and we may have found our hub, if you will, that we're going to be returning to. Okay, so it looks like we've got a few different directions to go. We've got a nice bridge with a river flowing under. Up here, I see some sort of a puzzle panel. And then, wow, actually several different paths potentially to go to. Ooh, that looks like our fan symbol. Huh. Where do we start? What is the place that we want to start here? Why don't we just go this way? We might discover that several of these paths are blocked off. Like these feel like these are supposed to be puzzle panels or pressure plates that are just not active at the moment. They've got a power cable leading to them. We've got to do some activating. Some solar panels. Some sort of industrial plant. Very abandoned. Factory of some sort. Oh, okay. We can actually get inside. That's a cool little reveal there. And is this, there's our first panel in the sequence, potentially. And of course we are seeing a whole bunch of stuff that we don't understand. I'm seeing diagonal lines. The game is telling us that maybe the M key can do something. Oh, what in the world? Okay. That is having some effect. It is kind of, I don't know, highlighting one particular square. We can do this to multiple squares. Okay. What effect does that have? It's a different effect than the one that we've been doing with just with a left click, filling it in. So we're not just filling in squares or either filling them in or leaving them empty, but we also can highlight them. The appearance of this whole thing, having this blue line, yellow line. Some of these we can't change, right? So they are giving us, yeah, it makes me think that there's a tutorial for a lot of these symbols that we need to do first and then come back to this. But that's interesting. Intriguing. I want to know how it all works. Oh, I wasn't sure I was going to be able to walk on this broken fragment here. Okay, we got some more diagonal lines of different colors, as well as them being arranged on kind of their own Tetronimo platforms. How does that work? Oh, I cannot navigate anywhere. M does, there's no jumping. Spacebar is not a jump. I don't think I can get around. This platform's broken. This is not connected to any of these, and I can't go past this tree, so this is a dead end. Unless I can get around there through here somehow, but I think I need to solve this set of puzzles in order to get through our abandoned factory. We're gonna call it a factory? The factory? This is cool. This is fun. My cursor is making me think of Navi from the old school Zelda games. Hey, listen. I'm a fan of the very soothing music so far. Do we have here with these? Oh, that I'm underneath the platforms here. I'm underneath the platforms. So these fan symbols are of varying colors, and there are also some symbols underneath, and I don't know what they mean yet. So many mysteries. So many questions. But I like this, that you kind of are getting, you're getting an overview of what's to come, even though you don't know what the heck any of it means yet. The lattice here with this vineyard area, it's got a square in the middle, yellow and purple boundary or outline. This might be a puzzle. There's also some panels here to solve, but we are unable to reach that platform yet. Maybe we have to get through the factory. The camera zooms out when we stand in that spot, kind of to give us the overall view, but it doesn't seem like we can control anything. Oh, the music is gorgeous. Now we are in a mine shaft, or a mine cart shaft. So many puzzles that are not active right now. So much that needs to be connected together. An entire puzzle up here, perhaps? Oh, I'm also seeing a doorway over here that's got some colors that might correspond to the colors that are beneath these platforms. Oh, there is so much to put together here. But I think we're looking at the more advanced parts of the game, I think. Okay, there is a panel here. This very non-linear setup, also very Witness-esque, letting you go in so many directions that maybe you're not equipped for just yet. Like this one here, if I'm looking at... It looks like there is a Tetris piece, but that worked. What? Okay. Did we just... We just filled in a part of our map, didn't we? I didn't even know we had a map, first of all. Because here's our home base, here's our hub. There is the diamond representing the force field encased starter area. And then we have, you are here. Okay. Yeah, this, like, it feels like there are going to be other pieces. Yeah, okay, I can see the backdrop. I didn't notice this at first, but that you can see there is like a shaded area where the entire map is supposed to be. And we've filled in this, like, first portion. And then if we return and stand on there, we can see the map again. Huh. Okay. What are we meant to do here? Feels... Oh, I'm... Before... Okay. In this little area here, there are pressure plates. And when you stand on one, you can maybe... Oh, wow. Oh. What? There's a new mechanic here. R. Reset. That's what it looks like. So if I click one square, if I try to fill in one square, it fills it in, and then is it like filling in the rest of the squares? So the, oh, okay, so let's do an R. So we're starting on one of the squares. We hit space bar, and now where we walk automatically fills in the next part of the sequence. But then we hit space bar to try to say, hey, we're done. Just filling in all the squares is not enough. There is some pattern that needs to be figured out. Okay. We're not going to spend a ton of time there. There might be other information that is going to, that will help that make sense. I'm guessing that this little, this part is supposed to lower when we solve. I don't know. Actually, I don't know what is supposed to open up here or what is not supposed to open up. I don't know. What do we got here? Something I can interact with? Looks like the answer is no. It does look like there's like some embers in that. And another big panel here that looks like it interacts or acts the same way. And I have no idea what pattern could possibly be the solution. Interesting that once you walk back onto a portion that you've already filled in, it starts to tell you where you went wrong, or it says, hey, you need to get back to this square to keep going. Okay, I am noticing that there's this over here. Are we supposed to start at this point and recreate that line over here? If that were the case, it would be... Where is the... What square exactly are we doing this from? Because the problem I'm having is, where do we exit? But maybe that's not a problem. Let me think about this. If we have... How many squares wide is this? It looks like 11 by 10. Is that correct? It's 11 by 10. It looks like we do also have an 11 by 10 over here. No, it's not an 11 by 10. It's more like an 11 by 12. Should we cut off the top and the bottom row? and just say, if the width is the same, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start there. Go up 3. Go over 4. Go down 1, 2, 3, 4 more. Yeah, but that runs into a problem, right? Because then you've got your path is being blocked here. So it could be that this is meant to be rotated, perhaps. I think we're going to leave this one for now as well. We're kind of in a little bit of getting a lay of the land. We're scouting things out. You can also draw on this side, right? So this adds even another level to this. Like I can see, like, once again, we have white versus black, light versus dark, and how do those interplay? Not clear. If I do this, if I light that up, but then I go over here, does that continue drawing? Or do I have a separate solution? I can actually have two separate solutions, huh? That I have going at the same time. And I can resume. And then if I press R while standing over here, does it reset them both? It doesn't reset either of them. You have to actually be standing on one of them to do the reset. Lot to digest there. How do we make sense of that all? What's up here? Even more. It's we've got rule sets that are being stacked on top of each other, right? There's a dot. There's a dot in these squares, and that's supposed to mean something, but we don't know what it means yet. Although maybe we learn here, right? This could be our tutorial for this particular mechanic. But we're still scouting. How far will it let us go? It might let us go pretty far. Ooh, pretty flowers. Pretty purple and yellow flowers. Oh, wait a second. We are now above this area. Could be a tutorial for the purple and yellow flowers / fan symbol. It may not. It may not. It's probably not a fan. We'll have to figure out. I'm sure there are some community names. Either maybe they might even be names that are accepted by the developer of the game, or they're actually names that are revealed in the game itself. But I would, just as a little bit of instruction for anybody leaving some nice comments down below, please do keep me in the dark. If the game has not explicitly revealed something to me, and that includes like names of mechanics or rule sets, then I don't want to know. Let me flounder around coming up with my own my own nomenclature, but when we're doing the blind playthrough experience here, I really do want it to be as organic of a playthrough as possible. I want the experience to, I want to share it with you all, but I want it to be my own. So let me try to figure things out, and if the game never tells me that information at all, don't tell me that either. Don't tell me that the game doesn't tell me. I am really just wandering around here, just kind of looking at all these different things that we're going to try to make sense of, but I haven't. I was sort of searching for a dead end. I'm going to call this the Christmas tree area right now, though, because these look like Christmas trees. another part of our map. So what we did before is I just tried to fill in, you know, there could be two possible solutions here. One is where the center square is filled in. Okay. I tried that one first because it was the simpler option. The other option would have been to go and fill in, you know, all of these. Wait, that works too? Wait, what? Do these maps just work no matter what you do? No. No. So they work either way? Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough, I suppose. All right. So we're up here in the lands. This one does appear... the puzzles in this area do seem to be... I wasn't sure at first when I saw them on the hub ring, but they certainly seem to be... Well, they look like ones and zeros, which to me suggests that they are some sort of binary? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. I do have a background in computer science, so I'm not opposed to binary puzzles. Not going to shy away from those. Don't know exactly how they're going to work. We could also be seeing, I don't know, are these ones and zeros on the gravestones? Are they meant to be interpreted as ones and zeros? Okay, there is also what might be ones and zeros above this entryway, but there might be, this might be a 0, this might be a 1, but this just looks like a square, and this looks like a tiny square. Maybe we'll call it a dot. Is our character getting cold? Is our character wishing that that she had brought a snow coat? In order to solve the binary puzzles, who knew that you had to dress so warmly? Actually, our character just stays on the move. That's how. We're jogging. We're jogging everywhere so we don't freeze. Was there a path down this way? I think we already came down here, and that led to the dead end. Okay. We also don't know what the heck this all means. If I press R here, aha, that is just a panel reset. Okay. All right. Is there a right click? Does that do anything? Doesn't seem to do anything, but we have this M that allows us to highlight certain squares, so we don't know what that does yet. All right, we are learning here. I did notice at one point when I went to break that there is a pause, and it does have things like settings and view controls, but I would like not to look at those just yet. Sometimes viewing controls, like it's not really a spoiler because it's what's in the game. And there may be a time, you know, if I'm really stuck on something, that I might look at view controls, or once I've had a little bit more time to absorb the game. Once we're a little bit more familiar with things, looking at the controls menu might help to just lock in or solidify some of our knowledge or thinking. I did notice there was a really cool looking, some very cool looking cherry blossom trees here. Looks like there are 7 squares, which correspond with the 7 branches. So far, what we have been taught. Well, we've been taught a few different things. We don't know what this M does. We don't know what the highlight does, but we do know kind of that there is a a filled in versus empty state, could we say that the branches that are slightly higher would correspond to being filled in? The lower ones are empty. Okay. Seems like that works. So I'm starting to I'm doing the cherry blossom puzzles here because you know, in the witness, the cherry blossom section was kind of a bit of a standalone section. May not be the case here. I should not be carrying over too many assumptions from the witness, but I can't help it. Now, okay, now my simple logic for the first puzzle now is being thrown a curveball, because now we don't just have a simple binary state between branches. There are potentially several orientations here. How do we measure these? I think we can measure them, because we should note that all of these branches on the first tree started from the same height. But on the second tree, they are starting, they're in a bit of a tiered arrangement. So you have two branches in the middle here that are, one is taller than the other. So we could say that these are 3 and 4, which would make 4 filled in. Then you have 2 and 5 that are on the same level, 2 being taller. Then you have 1 and 6 on the same level, 6 being taller. Makes sense. Okay, so we're recognizing the patterns so far in the cherry blossom section that they want us to see. So now I can kind of see that the 2 and 5 seem to be much shorter, even though they're not on the same level as 1 and 6 and 3 and 4. They do seem to be noticeably shorter, which would suggest that 2 and 5 are the ones that are empty. And indeed, that is the solution. So, cherry blossoms. Was that the end of that section? Did that open up our door? There you go. Okay, cool. I am really enjoying this so far. We haven't even really sunk our teeth in to any one particular section until now, I guess. This is the cherry blossom section. We're also, the intro starter area also. How stumped we were. Now this is the first, oh, this is the first rectangular, non-square little section that we can fill in. It's the first that we've seen of these. What does that mean? Because here, this might be a meta thing, where the squares are meant to represent the actual cherry blossom portions, which would make, if we counted these 1, 2, 3, 4, then 2 and 4 would both be longer and therefore filled in. But I think we can also do the same. We can compare the branches below. Yeah, that's what they want us to do. This branch here, which supports the 2 cherry blossoms on this side, this one is just quite a bit shorter than the branch on the right that supports 3 and 4, which would make this one the filled in one. Cool. These ones make sense to me. These are clicking. So now, the first, if we work our way from the root, the path to the left is longer. Then we're doing like we're doing a tree search here. This is, just do your cherry blossom search algorithm and all will be fine. Yep. And then, okay, now, hold on, wait a second. Whoa. Maybe. Because now we have. Interesting. There are eight cherry blossoms. But there are only, There are 8 small squares and 2 of the rectangles. Now this one is throwing a bit of a curveball. Because at first I was thinking that the depth of the tree is associated with the, kind of the rows of the puzzle panel. And so the final layer are the branches, right? The cherry blossom branches, which there should be 8 of them, except in this case they're not. Does this mean if there's only 4 on the top row, does that mean that we're supposed to treat each cherry blossom pair as its own thing? So these 2 here would be 1, and these 2 here would be 3. Does that make sense? And then if we were to go to the next layer below and count these supporting branches, the supporting branches here, 1, 2, 3, 4, that might be the next row, which would make this one and this one the longer and therefore filled in squares. And then finally we have just the 2 rectangles at the bottom with the one on the left being longer. Okay. I had to make a simplifying assumption. Also, there's a map panel over there, which I'm not sure how I get to. How do I get to that? Is there a way to... oh, I can walk around. I can walk around. There we go. So, do any of these work? I could do it either this way or the other way. It doesn't matter, it's not picky. There we go. There's our cherry blossom section. Okay, that must be the tree on our ring. I think that's the tree. Okay. Yeah, we had to make a simplifying assumption here, but it seemed to work. So we're rolling with it. This is an elevated section over here that we need to get to. We can do that though by going around. And just as a reminder to myself, did we already explore in this? Oh no, we have not explored in this direction yet. There's a tree just by itself. There appears to be an opening here. This feels like this is some sort of a doorway or a an opening somewhere you can fall into. Do I want to do this one now, or why don't we continue with, we'll come to this one in a second, just because it does seem to be a little bit more involved and it doesn't quite look the same as the other straightforward cherry blossoms, and we might need to figure out, because it does seem like we're progressing. The puzzle progression is happening here, and we need to try to see if our logic holds. Okay. The first, so if we're going from the bottom up, we have 2 squares in each row. You have 2 branches here at the from the root, and one of them is clearly longer, the one on the right. From there, you have another set of branches, or you have 2 branches, I should say, one of which is clearly longer, the one that goes to the left. And then from there, so because there's no clear winner, you leave it empty? Nope. That ain't it. So I could try to brute force this top row. That doesn't quite feel right. I'm just, it's not clear to me. It's not clear what the winner is. Unless we are still taking into account, this is where the logic has now, there's a change that's taken place, where we had these very structured cherry blossom trees now our structure has become more chaotic. And so it's not clear to me what is happening. If this is where maybe I need to re-examine my assumption that I'm building up the branches from the bottom. And this one being longer means that this one's filled in. This one being longer means this one's filled in. Where do we go from here? Where do we go from... Do I fill both of them in? Again, you know, like, that could be... I'm probably not able to look at the next panel yet, right? Until I activate it. The number of cherry blossom... Oh, wait a second. No, I think maybe we can just barely make out... It's tough to say, but I think, I want to say that just barely we can see that this branch to the left is longer. That one, okay, I don't love that one as much because there's a little bit of confusion here for my brain at first. Didn't necessarily interpret these little sections here as branches so much as they could be just the walkway behind, right? Now, as I'm looking very closely now, I can see that, you know, these branches are just a little bit lighter than the walkway, the stone walkway. But that's how I initially parsed this. I parsed it as I can't see the branches because these look like just I'm looking through the tree to the walkway below. So that one, you know, okay. Okay, we've just got to be a little bit more observant, but I think our rule still holds. So let's see if we can build up from the base. The path to the right appears to be longer. From here, now we're doing, you know, where we're combining, we have a really long rectangle to represent the branches that the branch out points from once we get to this segment. But I think that's really just to maintain, you know, because we have so many rows on this side, but we want to say that we filled out the whole panel. We made these taller than they need to be. I think, though, the one to the left is the one that is longer and therefore needs to be filled in. Now, okay, so now tracing, if we get to the second level on the left-hand side, the branch to the right feels like that's the one that's filled in, or that's longer and should be filled in. Then from this point, the one to the left feels longer. And once again, the one that goes to the left feels longer. Okay, I'm glad these are lining up because I'm just kind of going with my first intuition. And admittedly, at first, on the first cherry blossom of this area, my intuition didn't quite parse things correctly. Maybe we're getting there though. Oh, look at this. Look at this. The our little the embers. Our little it's not a furnace. It's you know, it's not a stove either. What's the term when you have a little thing that holds your fire, your campfire, or your it's not a grill either. What's the word that I'm looking for? Akinar struggling for words. This is a common occurrence here if you are new to the channel. Get used to me struggling with my vocabulary. Okay. This is, if we're thinking about each row, what we're trying to do at each row is group together the branches that are longest, I think. The ones, or longer. There's usually a either or grouping. And I think in this case, if we're counting this, and this, it looks like the one on the far right is the I guess maybe it is the longest. I'm not sure if there's just 2 categories here. But I think there need to be because it's either on or off, filled or empty. Let's try to keep things as simple as we can. But now it might be, If we're judging from this point, right? If this is our branching point and we want to say which one of these 2 paths is longer, the one to the right feels longer. Even though this doesn't, these are different shapes now. So we have a sideways rectangle to signify this branch, but we have a vertical rectangle to signify this branch. But there's no, this one is, it's a leaf technically. It ends. It's not, there's no more branching. So this is, the structure is becoming just a little bit ununiform, non-uniform. But I think the logic is still holding. So from this as our new branching point, which is where we're choosing between these 2, the one on the right is longer. Now we go back down to the let's go to the very left-hand side, and we have a similar, well, it's a similar choice to what I think we had on the one before this, where we have the 2 vertical rectangles, and this time the one on the left is the one that should be filled in. Here from this branching point now we're going to have, I think, 3 different branching points to finish off, and that's why we have the 3 rows. And at each point there's 2 potential ways to go. This one goes to the right and is the longer branch. This one also goes to the right and is the longer branch. And then to finish things off, we have one that goes to the left as the longer section. We have our first achievement. Complete the orchard area. Boom. Perhaps our achievements will be filling us in on the nomenclature that is used in Taiji. Okay, but we have lit our first... Have we lit our first bonfire? Is that what we're going to call these? They're bonfires. Bonfire lit. Save point established. Okay, I really did like the puzzles in this area, even though there was just the minor little complaint with the way that the textures were set up. Like if we positioned this, where these 2 branches are a little bit higher and the background is clearly a different color, then the branch would have stood out, I think, much more immediately, and I wouldn't have had any confusion whatsoever. Is there anything else to find? Oh, right. We had this kind of standoff by itself puzzle. Can we do this now? We might have been able to do this before. Starting from the bottom, we have 2 potential branches, and the one to the left appears to be longer. From that point, I think if we're judging from here to here versus from here to here, then the one on the right is longer. And then from this point, the one that goes to the left, and then from here, the one that goes to the right. That seems to be the correct arrangement for the right-hand side. Now, at our next branching point on the right, the path to the right looks like it's longer. From here, the branch to the right looks longer, and from here, the branch to the left looks longer. Okay, that felt like it didn't do anything other than, yay, we solved a puzzle. And ultimately, that is why we're playing the game. But it is also fun when something happens in the world as a consequence of our actions and puzzle solving. So maybe that did have some greater effect other than to increase our puzzle count by 1. But whatever that effect may be is not apparent. It didn't open this, what looks like a set of doors. Perhaps that opens, perhaps it doesn't. If it does, we got to do something else. Cool. All right, I think the orchard area for now is complete. Let's go ahead and head back to our hub area if we can find it. And it's right here. And sure enough, there we go. We have one of our puzzle areas completed, and we have one of the what looks to be 5 strips at the bottom of the ring that need to be lit up in order to open a passageway to the underground. Or maybe it's, maybe it's more than 5 here. Maybe we need to keep filling in. Maybe we need all 9 sections completed to do something at the hub. It's not clear yet. So for now, we just keep solving puzzles and finding out. What about over here? This actually, to the left, actually felt like the area that I might want to go to first. My natural, let's start at the left-hand side. That was my natural instinct, and so I decided to disobey that and go to the right. But I'm not getting the vibe that there is any really. Well, we'll see. Let's see how the game goes. And before I jump to any conclusions about what order or the game wants or doesn't really want or maybe doesn't even care about us doing it in. Let's not worry about that for now and just keep solving puzzles. And we did solve the cherry blossom area, but also there are still a lot to scout out here. Oh, I can get the map. I could get the map there. There's a passageway here that I would like to figure out how to get to. How do we get there? There are more puzzle panels over here that are similar. What are we going to call these? The filled empty puzzles that we started the game with. Let's at least get the map. Let's at least get the map for this section. Since it doesn't seem to matter, just need to have one shape filled in and one empty. What is the deal here? Really don't know where I see that there's a blue cable and a brown cable. That's about the only clue that I have for that set of panels. There's a bridge. Oh, and we have another bonfire to light. These are now officially bonfires. Okay. Now this is one that would really put my convoluted set of rules that I have. This would really put it to the test to see whether I'm correct. If I am, the implied squares, if they are going by a majority rules, then this square here would be empty. This square here would be filled. This squared here is surrounded by 3 filled, 2 empty. And so we said that it's the opposite of the majority, so it's empty. This one here, it has 3 empty, 2 filled around it, so it is filled. This one, excuse me, this one would be empty, this one would be filled. But then what does that say about the middle? Because the middle, this now breaks my rule set. Because it has none, it's only surrounded on the top, bottom, left, and right by implied squares. And on top of that, there's 2 that are empty and 2 that are filled. So it's a tie. So now I don't know what to make of. My rules have fallen to pieces. Potentially. Did I really just get this right? No fucking way. What? Okay. Okay. So if there's a tie, you leave it empty? Or if it's not surrounded by any by any explicit squares, then it's just empty. This rule set is getting convoluted very quickly. I feel like there's a simpler explanation, something else in play that I don't see yet. But also this was right. So I can't just abandon the rule set that I've got going. Oh, I can walk in there. Wait, was this open? That didn't open just now, did it? I don't think that was open. Okay. That was right. Like, okay, there's part of me that's happy that I solved the puzzle, but there's also part of me that feels like I'm shooting from the hip and don't really know what the hell I'm doing. And that's not incredibly satisfying. It's almost disconcerting. Yo, what is this? There's another cherry blossom area, except there's like a reflection in the water or something. What is going on? Also, what is this area supposed to be? There's a building. And oh, okay, it's a winery. Maybe. There are beverages of some variety that are being done here. And now we have a panel that I don't really have a clue about. Oh, we're back to this. We're back to this. Okay, now I really don't know what's going on here. Confusion. Confusion is real, but the music's so soothing. There was another entrance over here, wasn't there? The entrance that I think was open to begin with. There's a cable here. Oh, the cable. Oh, right. Okay, the cable eventually leads to the bonfire. And then we have a statue here. Someone with wings. I don't think this is supposed to be us, is it? Not sure. There's also this shape. The 8-pointed star that we saw when we started the game. Oh, there's somebody juggling here. Okay, we've got some. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. I'm starting to notice there are some dots in these paintings. The dude juggling, these are the tiny little dots that we've kind of seen in a couple different places. I don't know how they relate to... Don't know exactly how they relate to these panels yet. This is going to be fun. I don't know yet if this is a tutorial area or if this is you're putting together. I think this feels actually more like, much more like the town. That there are several rule sets that need to be combined in order to get where you want to go. I really do like the art style and the way that the level peels back. The layers peel back as you move to different floors. Yeah, there is so much going on here that I really need. This area is one that we are going to be returning to. But we're still scouting out, you know? We're getting a lay of the land as we've been doing for most of the time. Because that's what you got to do. You got to at least get your brain starting to wrap itself around all the things. Even if none of them make a lick of sense. Still can't really believe that this one worked, but also it appears to be a standalone puzzle that was just a +1 to our count. But we'll see. Maybe it has more of an effect than I'm giving it credit for. What's over this way? Now these, I feel like I should be able to do. But also, it might be testing, or maybe it's not testing. Maybe it is tutorializing what I have been deducing for myself already. I think maybe that's what we've got here. Okay, so let's see if we can put together the pieces that maybe make this rule set a little bit more less convoluted. So this panel here, gave us an alternating, like maybe it's not supposed to be about, let's see. How do we apply? Let's try to apply my rule set to this. Because my rule set is that whatever the majority of the surrounding, I'm calling these the explicit. So we have 3 explicit empties. We have 1 explicit filled. So the implicit ones are these 3. These are not being explicitly told to us by this statue or by this arrangement, but we do need to come up with some answer for them here on the panel. So my solution has been, look at, for the implied ones, like this guy, look at what squares are explicit that are either up, down, left, right. Ignore the diagonals, only the cardinal movement directions. So to the left and to the right, we have a majority explicit empties, which would make this an implicit filled. For this square over here, we have a similar situation, just the 1 explicit empty, which would make this an implicit filled. And then here, we obviously have an explicit filled here. But then the last implicit, now, when you look only at the explicit ones that are around it, it's just the filled and the empty that are here and here. So that would be a tie, which would make, the lesson that I drew from the previous, the big old panel that we just happened to solve, if that one seemed to say that a tie of this nature means that it's an implied empty. Does that work? Do I have the right rule set? Or am I just getting fortunate that I have this have I somehow horribly overfit the training data, except we're still on the training data. And so I'm eventually going to hit a corner case here. I'm going to hit a piece of the validation data set that all of a sudden my overfit rule set is not going to comport with. That's what I'm afraid of. That's going to happen here. That is what I am afraid of. Except it's still working. So, convoluted or not, if it works, right? What's the problem? What is the problem? I don't see one, guys. I think we're fine here. Everything is fine. Everything is awesome. Okay, well, there's probably a simpler explanation. Like if I take a step back and just look at the, you know, what the puzzle is kind of, do these patterns make sense just in some other very simple way? Maybe they do. And that might be one of these things that eventually, once I've had enough experience with the game, and perhaps I've gone back and edited this footage and played the game some more and then edited some more footage, and things will start to click. Things will start to make sense. Oh boy. Are we... So, okay, there's another cherry blossom section here, which now looks like we are doing the opposite. We're doing the opposite of what we did on the other side. Is that true? Okay, we're doing the opposite, except we need to solve the puzzle as if the tree were right side up. That's my first guess here. If that is true, okay, let's see if this works. Now, fortunately, if we're flipping this vertically, I don't think we're flipping it horizontally. So I think we can treat left and right. We don't have to flip those. So I think if we're starting here and we go to, I think the left-hand side is longer. Now there's 3 potential branching points. There's 3 potential branching points from here. And it looks like actually the left 2 are, it looks like the left 2 are both the same length. Then we get to the 2 branching points on the final, well, on the far left path, and the one that goes to the left looks like it's longer. Here it ends, right? There's nothing more to do in the center. To the right, oh, what do we have to the right? What do we have to the right? Is this a situation where we're going to have to look up here as well? It looks like it, because this branch here is the branch in question, and we can see that once we get to where the point where it forks, the path to the right is the one that we need. So I see. So we have to, I don't think we can get that information from the reflection. It doesn't look like, it looks like the tree obscures that branch. So, okay, we've got to incorporate information from both. So then we said that the branch to, right, okay. When we're talking about the right-hand side now, there's a branching point here. And it appears that the one to the left is longer before it hits its branching point compared to this guy. And then from here, the path to the left is longer. From here, the path to the right is longer. I had a feeling that might be the case. Okay. I am not sure if I just made a mistake or if I do need to completely re-examine my logic. So we're going to leave that one for now. I think I'm, you know, when I get far enough into a play session, it's more likely that I just made an error, a silly flub of getting one of those wrong. There's something about that I am probably misreading, but that's interesting. Is this a one-off? Is there just the one cherry blossom reflection puzzle? We go in here? We can. Oh, we're down here. We're on the... Oh, we made it to the other side of this. Oh. Very cool. What is this? Oh, shit. Something tells me that we're probably going to build a bridge if we solve this puzzle. But I ain't got no clue how we're going to solve that as of yet. We're still kind of exploring. We're still kind of getting just a sweep of our environment. No pushing these mine carts, I'm sure, right? None of that. There are some puzzles to be solved up here, but we need to get either past that minecart or around it. Oh, okay. We got some more testing to our logic here. Oops, not those. Some more test cases to see how far off or on we are. Aha! My logic has finally failed, I think. I think I finally got a corner case where my complicated rule set is coming up short. I think I found it. Yeah, okay. We're gonna have to do better. This is good. This is good. I knew my rule set had to be far too complicated. There's no way that that was actually... like, how did I... the fact that we solved so many puzzles up to that point, it's a little scary. These exclamation marks feel like warning signs. Like, you maybe shouldn't be here, or you need to be very careful. There are some blue and purple exclamations, though. Can I walk up here? No, that's a roof. I think that's a roof. How do I need to make it past... I need to open this door. To... Actually, I'm not sure. Oh, this might be underneath. I think these are actually minecart tracks. We need to open the door. That door is beneath us, I think. It's beneath us. I don't even want to bother with that door. It's at a lower elevation. We're not able to... Oh, okay. I can traverse there. I was trying to figure out, am I stuck? Am I at a dead end here? Or... Wait, no, I can't get on that. Wait, I can't... I'm... Okay, we must still be at a higher elevation. And I'm just misreading the... It looks like I could walk from the grass to the wooden platform here. But I think those minecart tracks are down from where we are. And we've got to get down to them. So many ways to go. But I'm having so much fun. This is... There's quite a bit of island. There's quite a bit of world to explore here. Thinking in witness terms. We're clearly on an island, right? Except we're like, how far up in the sky? We're on a mountain peak. Maybe. Wherever we are, it's got a lot going on. Have we explored down in this direction? I feel like this might be the one way that we have not gone yet. And, okay, that did feel like we were going to be going underneath. There's another area up. Oh, wow, oh, there's a door back here. Oh, that was very hidden. It's you can see. Yeah, I was waiting for this part of the level to get drawn back in because I wanted to see the Z key. The Z key does have a very slight zoom effect, but I kind of wanted to zoom out. Can I do it with the mouse wheel? The mouse wheel doesn't seem to have an effect. I want to get to this area and do more testing. Oh wait, I think we were already here, weren't we? We already solved that. I recognize those two. arrangements. I think we already, yep, we progressed through that. So this hidden area back here, which you can barely see the wooden framing around the entryway as the waterfall undulates back and forth. Okay, okay, puzzles that are going to require quite a bit more knowledge. Somewhere to come back to. Oh, now we are down below. Yeah, right, this was the path that we used to get into the main area. But now we're back in kind of this factory setting. Abandoned factory. Finding the initial panel. Finding this. I think we might have found the first panel in this area, and I just decided not to. Or maybe it's this one. Maybe it's this one. Okay. Another thing we can add to our map. Oh, how does this one work now? Oh, you just need to have, probably you need to have one. If I made this middle row, that would also work. It accepts both answers. I'm calling this the factory for now. We'll probably get an achievement for it someday, and we'll know for sure. But there is a lot of it that we cannot explore yet. Or, well, you know, there's paths that are blocked off to us that may always be blocked off to us. We will find out. Oh, did I don't think I checked this one either. So there's a couple different panels here that may get us started. Okay, okay. And then we're back to the hub area. And then did we check down this way? This might have been where we started, right? I think this is where we first came, yeah. Here's a now we know that these are panels that reveal this portion of the map, but I don't think we can actually get up to that one yet. If we can, I haven't found the way, but it feels like we probably need to be solving some stuff first. All right, I think that is where we will wrap up this installment of Taiji. This was a lot of fun. I'm so glad that we actually got to solve an area and get our first achievement in the first episode, especially after the difficulty that we encountered in the first little tutorial section. So we're trying to learn the different rule sets here. There's so many that we have not even started to learn, but I think we're going to be starting with this one next time. This one feels like one of these simpler introductory panels, at least, for whatever is going on with this little dot symbol. And I'm excited to check that out and see if we can start connecting all of these areas together and get all the different parts of our map. There's so much to do, and there are some complicated rules that I've got to get worked out because they were working for a while, and then finally we found the part of the data set that they don't work on. So we'll look to get that all ironed out, hopefully, in the next episode. Thank you all very much for joining me, and I hope to see you in the next one.